Come closer, my children. Come closer to the fire, for the night is long, and the flames are patient. You have walked through dust and shadow, through noise and hunger, through the endless drumbeats of the world. Tonight, I will tell you a story that is not just for children. No. It is for those who have run too fast, carried too much, and yet still feel empty. It is the story of Amara. Amara was from a village by the great river Niger, where the waters are wide and the soil is rich with memory. She was young, but her spirit burned hotter than the midday sun. She wanted to be seen. She wanted to be praised. She wanted the world to clap for her, to chant her name, to carry her upon its shoulders. She was the first to rise in the morning, and the last to rest at night. She danced until her ankles ached, sang until her throat was raw, pounded yam until her arms trembled. She even raced the boys by the riverbank, and when she outran them, she lifted her chin as if the sky itself owed her applause. And yes, the people clapped. They shouted her name. For a moment, Amara glowed like a star. But when the clapping ended, when the echoes died, when the moon replaced the sun and she was alone in her mat, she felt hollow. As the elders say, the gourd that is empty makes the loudest sound. Amara's heart was that gourd, full of noise, empty of peace. Now, it happened that the village prepared for the festival of the moon. Once every season, the children gathered before the elders to sing, to dance, to show what they had learned. The air would be thick with drums, with laughter, with firelight. And Amara, restless Amara, decided that this festival would be her victory. She would not just perform, she would outshine them all. She practiced until her voice cracked like dry earth, until her feet blistered like coals. She drove herself harder, faster, hungrier. But the more she prepared, the heavier her heart became. One night, unable to bear the weight, she sat beside her grandmother, who was weaving mats by the fire. The old woman's hands were steady, her eyes clouded but deep, like wells that had drunk the water of many years. "Grandmother," Amara said, her voice breaking, "I do not understand. I win, yet I feel like I lose. I sing, yet my heart is silent. Why do I feel empty when I give everything I have?" The grandmother looked at her, long and slow, as if she were not just looking at the girl but at the spirit inside her. "My child," she said, "if you wish to truly understand yourself, you must go where the noise cannot follow you. You must go into the forest. There, under the tall iroko, you will find a drum. Sit with it. Listen. Only then will you hear what you are seeking." Amara frowned. "A drum? How can a drum teach me? Is a drum not only for sound and celebration?" The grandmother smiled, a sad and knowing smile. "My child, as the elders say, when the roots are deep, the tree does not fear the wind. Go, listen, and wait." So the next morning, with nothing but her stubborn heart, Amara walked into the forest. The trees swallowed her footsteps. The air grew thick. The chatter of the village faded, replaced by the whisper of leaves, the buzzing of insects, the distant call of unseen birds. And there, at the foot of an iroko tree older than memory, she found it. A drum. Its skin was worn, patched in places. Its wooden body was carved with patterns that seemed to move if you stared too long. It looked as though it had been waiting for her since before she was born. Amara touched it. It was cool beneath her hands. She struck it once. Boom. The sound rolled through the forest like thunder. She struck again, faster, louder, filling the silence with force. The trees shivered with echoes. But then the sound died. The forest fell still again. Amora's anger rose. Is this what grandmother meant? This old drum, it gives me nothing. It is useless. But just then, the wind sighed through the leaves, and a thought slipped into her spirit. Wait. So she did. The first day, she sat by the drum, restless, impatient. She wanted the drum to sing, to answer her questions, to fill the hollowness. But nothing came. The second day, she grew bored. She kicked the dirt, hummed to herself, stared at the patterns on the drum. Still, silence. The third day, something shifted. She began to notice things she had never noticed before. The chirping of small insects in the bark. The rhythm of her own breath. The steady beat inside her chest. She realized the drum was not teaching her with sound. It was teaching her with silence. As the elders say, silence is also a language, only the wise can understand it. On the fifth day, she closed her eyes and listened, not with her ears, but with her whole being. And in that stillness, she felt a strange thing. She felt herself. Not the performer, not the victor, not the child who chased applause. She felt the quiet soul beneath all of it. And for the first time, Amora's hollow heart began to feel full. When the festival of the moon arrived, Amara returned to the village. The air was thick with excitement, with the sound of drums and flutes, with the chatter of children ready to show their gifts. One after another, the children danced, sang, shouted, spun, clapped. The crowd roared with approval. The noise rose like a storm. Then came Amora's turn. She carried the old drum with her. She placed it before her. She lifted her hands and struck it once. Boom. And then she stopped. The crowd waited. She did not strike again. She closed her eyes. Silence spread like smoke. At first the people were confused. They shifted, muttered. Why was she not playing? Why was there no noise? But slowly, the silence grew heavy. In it, they began to hear what they had forgotten. The crackle of the torches, the hum of crickets, the sigh of the night wind, their own breath, their own hearts. And suddenly, the silence was not empty, it was alive. Amara opened her eyes and spoke softly, her voice carrying farther than shouting ever could. This drum taught me that not every song is made of noise. Some songs are heard only when we are still. Life is not a race for applause. It is a rhythm. And sometimes the deepest rhythm is silence. The elders nodded, their faces lit by firelight. One of them spoke. The drum may be silent, but the heart that listens will always dance. From that night on, Amara was changed. She still danced, she still sang, but she no longer chased every contest, no longer needed every cheer. She had learned to sit with silence, to walk with it, to breathe with it. She discovered that joy was not in the noise of others, but in the quiet strength of her own spirit. And she became a woman of depth, whose presence was felt not because she shouted, but because she listened. So, my children, remember Amara's lesson. The world will tell you to run, to fight, to shout, to be first. But the Iroko tree stands tall not because it hurries, but because it grows slowly, its roots deep in the silence of the earth. As the ancestors say, the tree that grows slowly lives the longest. When you are weary, do not run harder. Do not shout louder. Sit. Breathe. Listen. For the loudest music of life is often found in silence. If this story has touched your heart, carry it with you. Share it with another. Let the wisdom of the ancestors walk beside you. Until we meet again by the fire, walk slowly, live deeply, and let your heart beat its true rhythm.